Bo Bishop and Nathan Zagura.
What is going on? What is happening? There are a few things in life because you don't get frustrated by much. You're a glasses half full type of guy. Thrive on enthusiasm.
Always, baby.
You've got a media guide situation that seemed untenable. You had like 66
really
packets,
frustrated me right there. It really made
player
me unhappy.
packets. I mean, I would say you're a connoisseur of many things, but certainly chief among them are media guide connoisseur. You've had to, that ain't gonna do it.
You heard that. That's the drop. And by the way, it has nothing that I actually want in it.
By the way, as I'm looking at that and I'm thinking about the color printing costs on that, I think my hunch is that packet cost about $7,500.
Yeah, it's enormous.
That's a lot of color.
But they don't have when you're doing a preseason game.
Yeah.
What you're looking for.
This is Philly, by the way.
In this, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. What you're looking for in here is, okay, quick little highlight of last season. We went yada yada. We did this yada yada.
Yep.
Then a little page where big free agent acquisitions.
Of course.
You list those out and you give a couple stats about each one.
Yes.
Next page, draft class.
Yep.
List those guys out just in one page.
One page.
And then
you could really put all of that maybe in one page almost.
I would.
Like one concise page of last year's record, returning starters, key returning players, free agents that have been brought in, key departures, draft picks.
Yes,
that's what you're looking for.
Nope.
Give me a schedule.
That's exactly what the
it.
Jags one was great. Jags one opened with their schedule. We were 3-14. We hired Doug Peterson. Here's why. Here are the people we brought in, and they spent more money in free agency in terms of guaranteed money than anybody's ever done in one offseason. $175 million. Jags.
Did they really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Darius Williams, Christian Kirk, Brandon Scherf, Fudokasi.
Wow. Yeah.
The guy Olakun, who led the league with 192 tackles. I'd never even heard of him. 192 tackles for Atlanta last year. They signed him. They spent $175 million guaranteed. Evan Ingram, Zay Jones.
Can they win that division?
Yeah, why not?
They might be. They might.
Like, why not? There's nobody that I'm like, oh my God.
Indy. I feel like Tennessee's going to take another step back.
Yep.
Indy maybe, but you know.
Like, for example, you mentioned Tennessee, A.J. Brown. I got to go find his individual player page. No, just give me like a little bite here on A.J. Brown. Little blurb. That's all we're looking for, right? Just a blurb ski. They open with their schedule, and then here's all about our owner. 4 pages about Jeffrey Lurie, which, I mean.
Look at for the people on this. Are we on the stream, Steve? We're on? Yeah. Hold it up for the people on the stream. Hold the schedule up. Just the schedule part first, and then you get the thickness as well. But, like, it's a really great, colorful front page.
Yeah, and ours is nice. So you got MJ Emerson, and then it starts off with notable storylines. Oh, how helpful.
That's right.
Then you go through, and this is how I immediately decide if it's a good one or not. Like, we have notable connections. So it talks about the people that have been in the various programs and all of that. And then what I really like, some what to look for in 2022, because you're trying to give some context, obviously the story. Oh, the last time the Browns and the Eagles met, we beat them in 2020 on just a gross day at First Energy Stadium, but you can look at that. And then what it has, and this is the most important thing, is it goes starters, projected starters on offense, backups on offense, and then you get like 2 sentences on each guy. Offense, defense, the whole deal. Yeah. That's important. The Jags had all of this. It had, this guy led our team. Luke, what's his name? Luke Farrell, tight end out of Ohio State. Is that his name? Who plays for the Jags now? Does that sound right?
Luke Farrell?
Yeah.
You said it relatively emphatically.
I felt like it, but I mean, that was last week's. That's out of my brain now.
Yeah, you've already moved on.
Yeah.
You're on. And honestly, and this is the case, like once they leave Ohio State, then that's.
Yeah, Luke Farrell. I had that.
Good job out of you.
Yeah, he's he was a 5th-round draft pick out of Ohio State of the Jags, and I knew from their little thing when it said, projected starters, he was in there and said, Luke Farrell, 43 catches, 43 yards against the Raiders in the Hall of Fame game. Led the team in receiving. Oh, that's a nice little note I can write there. Just this is needle in a haystack, brother. No interest in that.
Yeah, that's tricky. You don't need tricky.
No, and the truth
Keep it simple.
The truth is
this, do you think, going to lead to some sort of, because we're having this right now, a lot of these joint practices are leading to altercations. Carolina and New England don't like each other at all. Mac Jones.
Is that real?
Is that a real quote?
Is that real?
I can't tell.
Is that real?
I can't tell. And I'm too lazy to go see.
If it is, he's up a couple notches in my book. It's pretty great. I just don't see, he doesn't look like the guy that would say that to Brian Burns. Now, maybe you don't judge a book. He
absolutely looks like the person who would say that, just not to Brian Burns.
Fair.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with that. I don't know if it's real or not. I mean, I don't know how you'd get the quote. I don't think you could hear it.
It would have to come from Brian Burns himself.
Yeah. Yeah. But so I wonder if this will lead to, a little bit of a, little anchor showdown, little anchorman showdown here.
Here's the difference. Our organization is run by Andrew Berry, who was with the Eagles. Catherine Raish, who joined our organization, was just in a high-level role with the Eagles. They are good friends with Howie Roseman. The football operations on both sides will be very friendly. I was just going through their coaching staff. There are plenty of guys who have spent time here with the Cleveland Browns on their staff.
I was speaking more on the lines of like our media people fighting their media people.
Oh, I'd like to see that. Well, we have to unify first on our media side before we can worry about taking on outside adversaries.
Let me clarify. Our PR people fighting their PR people.
Oh.
Not like our beat, because our beat is fractured.
Currently.
It's a fractured beat.
Currently.
So, they got to sort their own stuff out.
Right.
But then once that's done,
I'm
saying PR versus PR, like you and I versus whoever's hosting, Eagles Daily. Birds Daily. Yeah, they call them the Birds.
The Birds. Yeah, I don't know. So it would be like TV, they got Scott Graham, Ross Tucker, and then Dave Spadero's down on the sideline.
Okay.
Radio, they got Merrill Reese, play-by-play. Mike Quick, a wide receiver.
Mike Quick.
Yeah, great name.
Oh, that's great. And he looked great in that Kelly Green.
Kelly Green, sure. And they've got Howard Eskin on the sidelines.
Howard Eskin, longtime legend in the Philly market.
As just a radio guy?
Radio guy. Big-time Barkley guy.
Okay.
Barkley loved him. Yeah, he's got a really tight beard, like exactly how you think you'd want your Philly radio guy to be.
Let me look.
I promise you. Exactly. I want to say his son might run WFAN in New York. I think so now. I think that's right.
Okay.
But yeah, Howard Eskin's exactly what you would want a Philly radio host to look like. If you were to pick one, that's it. That's the look. That's the guy. Nice tight beard.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah. Isn't that perfect? He's perfect.
That's great. So he'll be down there. Listen, we got Gerard down there, so that's I think maybe advantage us.
Yeah. And I feel like Jim, I wouldn't cross
you
Jim
want
Donovan.
No part.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
No.
I saw this from I want to run this by you. I saw this sorry, go ahead. Mr. Zagura, you have a question. You okay?
I just pulled this picture of Mr. Eskin up wearing a just resplendent fur.
Jeez. See? I told you. He's everything you want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's everything you want it to be.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Revered by his fans as king. He's the king, they call him in the Philadelphia market.
There you go.
I mean,
it says it. It's on the internet.
When you're wearing that coat, you're either Broadway Joe, a professional wrestler, or the king.
I wonder if he'll be here tomorrow.
Actually, I think Gibbe said they are not traveling their radio team in the preseason.
Well, that's interesting. It's an interesting choice.
It seems absurd.
Yeah, it seems odd to not do that. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to run this by you. You saw Kevin Clark from The Ringer respond to this. So BetMGM tweeted out, if you were given 10 carries against an NFL defense, how many yards would you get? So I pose that to you.
Okay.
If you were given 10 carries against our defense, trying their hardest, how many yards would you get?
In what world do I survive to take 10 carries?
Fabulous question. That's the first thing I thought. Can I even get to the second carry?
Right.
Like I'm turtling down quick.
Am I running behind like our line?
Another fair question. Let's say for the purposes of this conversation, you are.
Okay.
Very good offensive line.
Our line against this defense. 10 carries.
Yep.
I think that if I am able to end this, whatever it is, at 1 yard or better, big win.
I think you're right. I think if you can, I thought the same. I thought a yard, one positive yard would be a tremendous win. And
Huge
I don't
win.
think it's likely. I think it's likely that the holes that would be open that Nick Chubb can get to versus the holes.
Well, think about how long it's taking me to get to the line of scrimmage.
They're already sealed.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. Like now,
even if they blow it wide open, our guys do. You're running behind Bitonio and Treader. You still have to.
I do think I could be a decent.
There?
I think I could be a decent quarterback sneaker. So like, I think
good,
I could
good length.
if I could get low Tom Brady style and just kind of get out, in the mix there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I ended at this thing at plus 1 yard after however many carries, I think that's a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting to the line of scrimmage would be hard. First of all, my left hammy feels like it'd fall off the bone anyway. So the second I tried to really accelerate, and then I'm going to get annihilated, obliterated.
Yeah.
You saw Kunashik lay the lumber on some guy. Rodrigo for the Lions is out there crushing people. Yeah, no. Now, if you were to turn it around, and this is when I'll throw back to you, you get 10 offensive snaps as the quarterback.
Yep.
Like now, I think we're cooking with gas. Like I think I could get us a first down.
You get 10 throws. Could I get us a first down in 10 throws?
Well, I'm saying you get 10 plays, so they could end up being 3 and outs and one more play. It could end up being.
Well, I think what you do in that scenario is you put you on the 10-yard line, so you got 10 throws to get to the 30. Best of luck.
Absolutely.
I feel like I could get
100%.
I think I could get that. I hope that doesn't sound absurd. I feel like you could.
I don't think it sounds absurd at all.
Yeah. I feel like you could complete 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that might be enough.
By the way, you just have to throw one, and the guy makes a guy miss, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody else is actually a pro.
Everyone else is a pro.
I'm capable of delivering a football to somebody.
Yeah.
I got to read the defense. Now, may I throw a pick at some point? You're darn right.
That could be held against you.
No. It's just after, can I?
10 plays to go
20
10
yards.
Yeah. That's it.
Absolutely.
I like it. Yeah, I like that.
By the way, I think there is at least a 10% chance that we're scoring at the end of these 10 plays. 10%.
I like when you really double down.
Yeah.
I really like
I said 10%, 90% not happening.
Right.
In fact, I think it's more likely that the defense scores than I score.
Now you're cooking with gas.
Okay.
Yep.
But I do think that there is a
one
world
play where you got to make a miss
or a guy beats him off the line. I throw it out there. Schwartz catches it into the end zone.
Gone. Good catch out of him yesterday.
Great catch. He made 2 back-to-back days. That's good. Unless he got a vote of confidence from his quarterbacks. They came over and told him, look, we believe in you.
Hang in there, dude.
Keep getting open. Because, by the way, to have drops like that, you got to be pretty open.
That's the first part.
And he was. That's part 1. Part 2, it's like
we got to get that.
Taking the reservation and then honoring the reservation. You got to take it to be able to have the reservation, but then you got to honor the reservation.
Yep.
Otherwise,
that's the part. Otherwise, you're really good at taking them.
Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't.
The holding
of the reservation. That's right.
That's tricky. Now, I will say on a reservation, whether it's car or food, be on time. That's part of your job.
That's your job. You're given a known. You're given a known grace period.
It's known.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, please. Ask me anything you like.
I've found recently that with every reservation I make, the day before I'll get a phone call confirming that I'm coming.
Correct.
As I feel a decent member of society, make reservations that I keep. And if I'm not keeping it, I will call the restaurant. And I will tell you I'm not coming, or I will cancel it on Open Table immediately and free up the reservation for somebody else. There will never be a scenario in which I take a reservation and just don't show up and don't tell anybody.
Barring some sort of hardship.
So this
that would overcome
feels,
you.
this feels to me like we live in a society now where this is rampant, that they feel the need to, I've gone on an app. I have selected your restaurant. I've selected a time. I've said the party. I have clicked it. I feel like we now live in a society where a large majority of people have no problem making reservations, not showing up and not alerting the restaurant. Because why else would this behavior be more prevalent now than it was, say, 10 years ago? From a restaurant's perspective.
I am deeply troubled by this. I'd never thought of it in that perspective. But
it has to
be the case. This has to be a correction to what is
people just no showing reservations.
Just no thought to anybody else's.
No decorum.
I mean, honestly, hit us up on social. Do you know anybody who does that? Who makes reservations and then just no shows?
I won't know them for long. I'll tell you
me
that
either.
much.
I've never even heard
egregious.
of such a thing to make it, barring some sort of, medical hardship or something like that where you just lose track of things. There's just no scenario where the amount of times where I've made a reservation and canceled is pretty minimally.
Same.
Unless
Typically,
something crazy happens, if I make it, the intent is to go.
That's
take the idea.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you plan for it.
Right.
It doesn't sneak up on you. Now, there's extenuating circumstances, but in those extenuating circumstances, I'm quick to call and cancel the reservation. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
We live in a society.
And you know what they say when I do that? And I'm sure you get, Oh, wow. Thank
you.
They're like, but they are shocked. And it speaks to, I think, a prevalence in our society for
I'm going to blame our parents' generation.
no showing. You think it's them?
I think it's them. I think they just got really selfish over time. That's what I think. I think they just got really, really selfish over time.
I don't want it to be Stevie's generation.
Can't be Stevie. Stevie you'd cancel reservations. Of course he would. See, he would. Boy, that's good. I never thought of it that way, that there's obviously just tens of hundreds of people every Friday and Saturday night making reservations and not keeping them. That's a bad job.
Come on, man.
We had some roster cuts. We went over this yesterday. We had these guys yesterday, right? We talked about all these guys yesterday on the show? That's
we added somebody post-show, though.
Reggie Robinson?
Did he get added
Wasn't
today?
Dylan on there?
Dylan's gone, yeah.
We mentioned Dylan and Konsa and Day.
Yeah.
And so Reggie Robinson was the new guy that from
Reggie Robinson's been gone for
He's been
weeks.
gone. Yeah, so I don't know who.
Lavert Hill was the one that replaced Reggie Robinson. That was a while
that was
ago.
a while. The Michigan kid.
But we did add somebody here on the to the mix. We did add somebody yesterday, a wide receiver who was a former New Orleans Saint, a punt returner. Well, let me pull it up right here. I don't know his number yet, but I do know that his name, I think it's Aesop, if I'm and I hope I'm saying that right. I'll have that mastered by Sunday's game, because I imagine we will see the young fella out there. His name is Aesop Winston. Would you give me an
a great name?
EASOP? Aesop? Was that what you'd say?
I think.
It feels like he should be like in Yellowstone.
Yeah,
you got to go talk with Sheriff Aesop Winston.
Aesop Winston. He's gonna keep an eye on things.
The cattle authority over
down
here.
At Rock Ridge.
Right, exactly.
Get him down there.
So he was signed yesterday. 5'11", 190 receiver, undrafted free agent 2020, former teammate of Travell Harris at Washington State. Signed with the Rams in 2020, spent 2021 with New Orleans, appearing in 3 games. He had 1 catch for 5 yards, but was a punt returner, 10 for 119. That's 11.9 a return. That's not too shabby, a long of 34 yards. So he could be somebody that maybe the Browns are looking at to get into the return mix following the loss of Jakeem Grant.
Okay, very good. The other, obviously, the big story surrounding us is something that we alluded to yesterday. We talked about it on Monday's show as well.
I can't wait to hear what you say right now. Is it really the big story, or are we going to say something different?
No, I'm really going to do the big story right now.
Okay.
Like we're 18 minutes into the first segment. I think we should acknowledge the big story.
Listen, I think restaurants should be sending us free meals after. I think we've solved the problem.
We've helped a lot of people.
We've shamed these.
We're helping people.
Reservation
restaurateurs ought to
and no-showers.
We are for the restaurant industry.
Yeah,
I love a good meal. But no, the news of the day, many reporting. Florio, Mary Kay, others. Jim mentioned it with us on Monday on the show.
Yep.
We talked about it yesterday that there are some advanced talks on settlement between Deshaun Watson, the Players Association, and the NFL. So what does that mean? We have no idea. Could be today, could be tomorrow. Nobody knows. The only thing that I have a hard time, and this is not scores, but just common sense. I saw this notion that the NFL is not advising. What's this guy's name who's hearing this?
Peter Harvey.
Peter Harvey.
Yep.
That the NFL is not saying, hey, hold off on a ruling. I find that impossible to believe, because this was an expedited process. This was 2 weeks ago when the NFL appealed. So this is far beyond expedited when you're talking about 2 weeks. So clearly they want this to be settled one way or another. Yes, Mr.
Let me throw this at you.
Please.
Maybe Peter himself wants it to be settled.
Yeah.
So Peter was a former attorney general.
Yeah.
He's a practicing lawyer now. I would imagine somebody in his line of work and in his career would have a tremendous amount of respect and deference for a federal judge. Mm-hmm. And my guess is he probably doesn't want to have to come out and be the one who doubles, triples, whatever ultimately he does, a federal judge's ruling. Now, you could say, well, then why would he ever accept this responsibility? Well, he does a lot of business with the NFL, and he probably wants to keep that.
Yeah. And I don't think I think there's a lot of ways where you can go that the NFL, oh, wow, look at this.
Look at this. So many.
Team
That's
USA.
A polo. Look at that. USA.
What's he got in the hand there, polo?
I know. Something for us, I hope.
Not for us. Zero chance. I got to see if I can do an exchange.
You'd like it.
Polo for a T-shirt. I'll do a polo for a T-shirt. You think he's in?
Yes.
You'll do that for me? Polo for a T-shirt?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'm hoping for. When he comes by, we'll see if we can get that done.
By the way, Nana's very upset that you've blamed her generation.
I don't know. I think that's where we're at. I'm sorry, Nana. I love you. I just think that's where we're at. I'm not saying all of you are guilty.
Nope, but enough.
But enough. Certainly have.
You guys are going to have to go pay a visit to Sheriff Aesop Winston. Sort this thing out.
All right. So there's where you stand on that. We will go around the league.
I'm calling him the sheriff, by the way. Too bad, Peyton Manning. If Aesop makes a big play, that's what I'm calling him.
One other thing, you brought up the Mannings. So, and I love Peyton. He's great at everything it seems that he does.
Feels that way.
The Peyton's Places stuff I loved. At the pandemic, I loved it.
Huge fan.
I blew through all of those really, really quickly. So he's got this thing now where he does this thing called Eli's Places. So it's the same, except it's college. Well, the problem is it's one of my rules of the giving a toast at the wedding. Don't be funny unless you are.
Not.
And he's not. It's
not
crazy
like
because he's got decent comments on the Manning cast thing. Decent. Not like Peyton, but decent. He goes back to the well over and over a lot.
His funny is only making fun of Peyton, though. It's a very limited.
It's really a limited, and he's good at social. He's pretty funny on social.
Sure.
But it's really Peyton's vehicle. He's the vehicle for it. He's got the sense of timing and comedy and all of that, and the Eli's ones aren't. They're just.
They don't even have the alliteration. Eli's Places?
Yeah. It's no good.
How about Eli's Escapades?
Print it. You still have the not funny part, but at least that sounds better. We'll go around the league. What do we got on this program today? Gibby threw this thing together. We got some top 100 players we're going to debate, have some fun with it. We're giving away training camp awards, Gibby says.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a little Denzel Ward from the podium. And B. Lynch.
Yeah.
B. Lynch, you and B. Lynch. You have that to look forward to, which is nice.
By the way,
we're doing it. We're off to a nice
Me and
start.
B. Lynch at 2:30.
Yeah. We're off to a very good start.
You and I have to do about 90 minutes work because B. Lynch and I put in a solid 17, and you're going to love it. Everybody who is a Browns fan, number one, you need to become familiar with Brandon Lynch. It's only a matter of time before he ascends to running his own room in the NFL. I hope, obviously, he stays in this Browns organization. It's only a matter of time before Jeff Howard's running a defense in the NFL. He was just a defense coordinator at the Shrine game. These guys are great, and the players in their room love them. Yeah. And you'll hear why. You already know why Jeff Howard's great, but this is an opportunity to hear from Brandon Lynch. I'm not a zoo animal. I'd like to think I'm not
sure. I don't even want to look because I don't know.
It finally has stopped.
It felt like a little zoo animal.
I did. I felt like I was being stared at I was in the polar bear enclosure and I was just being stared at. I've never seen a polar bear before.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Anyway.
So you have that to look forward to, which is nice.
Brandon Lynch. More than nice.
All right. We're off and running.
Delightful.
Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
and Cleveland.
My friends, the Bath Authority gives you that bathroom of your dreams. You can transform your current bathroom into a custom bath for a spa-like experience in about a day with my good friends at the Bath Authority. They make it real for you and a fraction of the cost of competitors as well. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. They are experts and factory trained. Call them now. You get $500 off your next custom bath or shower. Give them that call at that number, 216-220-8399, or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality. The largest selection of bath projects, all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding at the Bath Authority. Superior products with expert installers, bathauthority.com, 216-220-8399. Mr. Segura.
All right, little news here. The Browns have signed tackle Wyatt Miller. To make room on the roster, the team has waived wide receiver Travell Harris. Miller, 6'6", 305 pounds, officially in his first NFL season out of Central Florida. Signed as an undrafted free agent by the Jets in 2019. He's been on the practice squads of Cincinnati, Seattle, and San Francisco. A native of Douglas, Georgia, spent most of training camp this year with the Carolina Panthers.
There you go.
So he has joined the squad. I think we just saw him a moment ago. I think that was him.
Anytime somebody large, I'm always trying to get some sort of an identification.
Sure.
Not that I would have had that. But
can I so I know that right now we know that fish have failed in the Bishop household, and now we're looking to get, maybe into the dog world.
Yeah.
If you needed a little nudge,
okay,
I'd like to tell you about something new that's just happened. My dog Asa signed up today.
Please.
Would you like to know about it?
I would like to. I'm inquiring.
The Cleveland Browns today have announced the upcoming launch of the Barking Backers.
Okay.
A new membership program that entails, tails like a dog tail, multiple engagement opportunities for the beloved dogs of Browns fans.
Okay.
Everyone who joins will receive an honorary membership certificate, communications and promotions catered specifically to dog owners, and an invitation to attend a pet-friendly in-person event. The Barking Backers Fan Club for Dogs is presented by Milkbone. It'll officially open later in August. My dog is signed up, and so here we go. The Barking Backers. I actually did a read for that yesterday, and at first I wasn't sure if it was a ribbing. Look at that. Look at the heat on the feet. Look at those.
Kicks.
Yeah, look at those. Yeah. Yeah, nice. That's right. But so there it is. There's going to be the first meet and greet currently expected to occur in October at First Energy Stadium. So there you go.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think with proper execution,
that's right,
that a bulldog-ish mastiff secondary logo with proper execution would be a hit here? It's because
there are a lot of people that want the dog.
A lot of people like that. My kids love it.
Yep.
The kids love it. Some of our players have mentioned that. Is there a way to thread that? It reminds me a little bit when you think about the Top Dog and you think about how the dog pound originated in the 80s, and you think about kind of the Hogs in Washington. Like we're always quick to say, why did you not lean into that? Now, we don't have a reason to change our name. I'm not suggesting anything silly. I'm just saying, is there a way to lean in to that even a little more, to where you could merch it or something?
Yes, we tried it.
No, I know. That's why I said properly executed.
But it's got right. Yes, I do.
I do too.
I believe that. Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I think there's a window there for something that would be kind of cool.
Yes.
I do. So, all right. Well, that's very cool. I've already got the name. We're naming the dog Mr. Roger Sterling.
I thought that's the stuffed dog.
Well, he named the stuffed dog after the real dog. That is yet to be.
Got it. Got it.
The only other thing that I could go for, if somehow we have to end up with a female dog, because apparently they're better behaved, at least that's what the people say. If that's the case, we go female dog, then I can be talked into Snoop.
You can still call it Roger Sterling. It's funny. There's nothing wrong with that.
But my wife would never co-sign that. I actually wanted to call the dog Dog. Just name it Dog. So that because in Yellowstone, actually, I think that's what his dog is, Dog.
It's great.
Which is great. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
You're right.
All right, let's go around the league. We had Kenny Pickett getting some first-team reps in Pittsburgh after going 13 of 15 for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Did you watch the end of the game thing with Pickett on the 13 of 15, 95?
I did.
Were you?
I saw highlights of it, I should say.
You weren't probably with the organization at that time, but it reminded me of Brady Quinn's preseason debut here, where he came in,
was just fire.
Did 2 minutes, but it was a 2-minute.
Sure.
Everybody's in prevent.
Sure.
He just went right down. The place went nuts. Everyone was waiting for Brady. And it was like, holy smokes, this was awesome. It was so exciting. And that's kind of what Pickett's thing to me was. 13 of 15, 95.
It's still not a lot. It's like 6 yards a pass.
That's my point. You're not having to make a lot of tough throws in that scenario. Yeah.
I do want to talk about another pick, George Pickens.
Okay.
Because he was a guy that we were pretty into, and we know that obviously he wouldn't have been available to the Browns when they picked in the second round anyway. But that was a guy that seems supremely talented. I do think it's incredible, and I think he's going to be really good. I do.
Yeah.
Size, speed, he's got it all. I mean, he felt like a total number one receiver.
He's a 5-star kid coming out of high school. He played at Georgia. Every box, check it. Sure. With exception of one.
Sure. And that's something that, look, people can mature, and it can end up being no problem whatsoever. The fact, though, that, like, and I'm going to take you back to something that was said to me. I won't say who said to me, but the fact that after one preseason game, and I know he's had, like, a nice camp and all of that, but in one preseason game, now everybody's saying, is he the best receiver already on the Steelers roster? Is he, like, is it ridiculous? Is anything less than 1,000 yards a disappointment for George Pickens in year one? Now, look, they've got Deontay Johnson, who's a stud. They've paid him. They have Claypool, who's also good. I think that Pickens could end up being the best of them. But just the way that we just get into crazy hyperbole.
It's because there's nothing to talk about in these games.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
There's nothing to talk about. Like, these games are not noteworthy. They're noteworthy for the people who are not going to be significant contributors on the actual team.
Dan Campbell said that straight up.
Flat out last
night, which was
like awesome. Right. So, like, that's why. So that's why if you're a content in charge of content at, for one of the networks or Sports Talk Radio or social, whatever, you see this and you see, all right, here's a guy who fell in the draft. Everybody remembers that weird stance he had when he was watching himself be drafted. You remember how he was standing with that hoodie over his head and all cinched up? You have two viral moments. You have the catch. There was buzz about him in camp, so you have an iconic franchise. You have the catch in the game, and then you've got him flooring the guy and waving.
Yeah.
So now you have two viral moments.
Yeah.
And so it starts to check all the boxes of how can we make more out of this. People are talking about this. Let's make more out of it. So that's how it happens. I know you know that, but just the audience understands.
So I'll go back to my first preseason game on the road with the Browns was 2014.
Okay.
We played in Washington.
Okay.
I believe Johnny Manziel exchanged, international greetings with the Washington football team sideline in that game.
Yep.
But Justin Gilbert, who was actually our top pick, I think 8th overall that year, got an interception in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking with somebody who was high up on the business side of the Browns, and we had Joe Hayden, who was still very much in his prime at this point. And I remember somebody saying to me, like, are we going to have to start talking about if Justin Gilbert's the best cornerback on our team right now? And I was like, no, we're not going to have. No. I said, it'd be nice, but I mean, like, what are we talking about? It's one game of the preseason. And so I hope that things go better for Pickens than Gilbert after a nice preseason debut. But, I mean, that's the kind of insane hyperbole that sometimes we deal with, obviously.
Yeah, and it's funny you see I don't think we have this slate anywhere else. We have a little bit of time on the Hard Knocks. You don't have Hard Knocks anywhere else, do we? Real quick on Hard Knocks last night. So
enjoyed it again.
I loved it. I thought it's great. I love Dan Campbell. I think he's wonderful. I think it could blow up entirely, but at the same time, I enjoy
fun to
him.
watch. I enjoy everything.
So,
and Deuce is great.
That's really interesting. They have leaned into in this season absolutely. They've leaned into the stars of this show are the coaches. It's the coaching staff. It's the head coach. It's the assistant coaches. They get a little bit of Amon St. Brown. You got not much though.
Hold on. His dad, 2-time Mr. Olympia.
How about that?
Hold on. Was ginormous.
Yes.
And I'm sure he's still in incredible condition, but like I don't know how you go from that. Like I don't know. Like
yeah,
he's so much. It would be like if the Hoff started looking like me after being the Hoff. Do you know what I mean?
It's not even that. It's even different than that. It's because it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It didn't make sense. It was strange. Yeah.
Okay, so it struck
me very strange. Yeah, especially when you saw like he was 2-time Mr. Olympia. Like it didn't make sense.
Well, when they showed the pictures of him as Mr. Olympia, like there was like him times 5.
Yes, a ton of mass. Yeah.
Vaporized. Yeah. Okay.
So that was certainly a attention getter. I was also taken by it's a tired thing. Like it happens every time somebody talks about us. To a lesser extent, Pittsburgh, because I think they've won more, but typically Buffalo. Like, we always have to get the vignettes of the hardworking blue collar, all of those vignettes. I'm just exhausted by them. So they did this with Detroit yesterday. And
it was
it's
a
like,
twist on it, at least. They tried to use like old grainy, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. They use the old grainy,
Sure.
Whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get
it.
it. Economies change, right? Manufacturing, okay, less now than then. We get it, right? We don't need Model Ts anymore, so I understand. But the one thing that did strike me, number one, that uniform pairing, the color is stunningly great. It's awesome. That blue and that silver looks awesome. It's always looked awesome. But also, so the last time that the Lions won a playoff game was, I believe, 1991. Okay, so that's Eric Kramer, Barry Sanders. That's like a playoff. They went to the divisional round.
Wayne Fonts? Was that a Wayne Fonts?
It was a Wayne Fonts. Yeah, Rodney. Yeah, Eric Kramer was there. This was like Kramer, Rodney Pete, Andre Ware. Yeah, like this era. Spielman was there as a linebacker. The previous win before that was in the 50s. In the 1950s.
That's wild.
Like when you would have to, and it's not like the Ford family doesn't spend. They do. I've talked to a lot of people who've played with the with the Lions rather. Like they spend, they try, they hire, fire, they try to spend on free agents, they spend on facility, they try to do all of those things.
Yes.
It's a stunningly bad run of luck.
Yes.
Stunningly to have that little success, and they've even landed, like they've had transcendent players.
Calvin
Barry, Megatron, Stafford. They drafted a guy number 1 overall, hit on it.
And it did nothing.
And still couldn't get it done.
I know.
So it was stunning. But I thought the episode, that's great. Campbell's great, and the whole crew there is very, very
I
good.
have a couple things, too, from the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Thing 1.
Yep.
I found watching Hutchinson's family watch the game in the press box like way too much. I thought it was way too much and weird, and I felt like they were trying to say things because they knew they were being filmed.
And clearly, like, Steve's like, I'm not doing this, so focus on them.
Yeah,
the
which
dad's
they
like,
did.
Just put it on them.
And then you see them reacting to a play. It's like, just show me the play.
Yeah, show me the play would be nice.
I don't mind hearing their voice react to it, but show me the play.
Yeah.
So there was that. That was a bit much. Number 2, Barry Sanders. You brought him up, so I had to go look this up. Okay.
Yep.
Because Deion's got me thinking now about the ultimate game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Brown, obviously, you would
think
he's
one of them.
He's one of he's the starting running back.
Yep.
So who are the others? And so it got me thinking. So I went and looked up Barry Sanders.
This would be mine. With that, before you say a stat, this is mine.
Okay. And I would.
In my mind's eye, that's where I am.
Okay.
Yep.
10 years in the league.
Yep.
Okay. How many 1,000-yard seasons?
All.
10. How many 1,300 or more yard rushing seasons?
8.
9. How many first-team All-Pros?
Wow, because he's with Emmitt Smith, and they only took one running back. I'll go 6.
Correct. How many second-team All-Pros?
4.
That's right. 10 seasons. You're really good at this. So much better than Gibby. It's less fun with you, but nonetheless, I agree. Okay, how many times did he lead the league in rushing?
7.
4.
Okay, I was off. That's
4.
a big miss. 3 off.
Yeah, but he goes 1470, 1304, 1548, 1352.
There's a Christian Okoye year in there where he led it in rushing. There's an Emmitt Smith led a couple of times.
1115 in 11 games, 1883, 1500, 1553, 2053, 1491. His final 5 seasons.
2053.
And his second to last year, and then he stops at 14.
Give me the one that's for the kids. That's really going to blow their mind. Give me his yards per carry.
Yards.
Do you have that?
Yards per carry. Why is that not? That should be like right there. 5 for his career, and it was the 1 year where he rushed for 2,053 was 6.1.
That's
he had another year that was 5.7 when he ran for 1883. But he was first team or second team All Pro every single year that he was in the league.
Yeah, he's the guy. It's him and Jim Brown.
So that's it.
Yeah, and I love Walter Payton. Like as a kid, he was my guy. But
I don't think that's even.
That's.
I don't think he comes close to that. I really don't.
I don't know. We can get the MIT kids to look it up. We'll find out. You got it?
I got one more thing. I do have one more. So Walter Payton would be 5-time first-team All-Pro, but many, many more seasons. Yeah. And for a while, he had a stretch where he was first-team or second-team in 5 straight years, but then he kind of fell off a little bit and certainly did not maintain the 1,000 yards every year, although it was every year but 3 in a longer career. 4.4 yards a carry for his career, not the 5. Maybe they're only showing particular highlights on purpose, but it sure feels like Jared Goff is completing every pass he throws, and they all are money.
It does look that way. Yeah, it does. There was one that was a little bit behind.
But they're not even like talking about it, so I don't think it's intentional, but it just feels like every time they show him in a drill,
he's on it.
He's on it. He's completing pass or throwing a touchdown.
He's very likable. He is.
Poor David Blau. That was rough.
That was rough. Yeah. Yeah, that was rough. That was tough.
Former Brown. Come on. He was here.
Yeah, I know it. It reminds me a little bit of I just don't know about David Blau's long-term prospects. And by the way, I'm not sure about his wife's either. Like, it feels like that's kind of I don't know that that's ever going to pay off. 17th in the Olympics. Like, you don't go from 17th to 3rd to the medal stand. Like, for her, I suppose making the Olympic final would be a win. I suppose that's the huge success there.
So you're still 17th best in the world at something.
That's true.
That's pretty sweet.
That's true. Yeah, that is. All right. We'll hand out some training camp awards coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Okay, so Gibby wants to do training camp awards here. So here's the issue with me. I understand that camp is over, but it doesn't feel like it is because you still have 2 more games and 2 more weeks of practices. So I understand that training camp, as it is, fans and all of that is over. It's hard for me to hand out things.
That's not hard for me. That's why you got.
That's why we have you here.
Yeah,
that's why we have you here.
Don't you worry.
All right. Who are your offensive and defensive MVPs of camp, Mr. Segura?
All right, so my offensive MVP, and you're looking. Can we do it 2 ways?
Yeah.
Great. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to say the obvious, right? Myles Garrett, because he's been so disruptive to practice. So Myles Garrett would be your defensive MVP, and your offensive MVP is going to be Nick Chubb, because every time he touches the ball, it looks insane.
It takes my breath away.
Yes.
It literally has on air several times.
Same. So I'm going to go with guys that are not on that ilk, and one of them I think is going to make people pretty happy. My offensive MVP, I'm going to give Amari Cooper. It is incredibly noticeable when Amari Cooper practices, and it is incredibly noticeable when Amari Cooper does not practice or is not getting those reps. And so he has stood out. He has looked every bit the part of a number 1 receiver. He's had great chemistry with both Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett, and I think that he has been as good as advertised, and I think that that's been fantastic. So defensively, I did say Myles Garrett. I think that he has been, in many ways, the defensive MVP. You could even throw in Jadeveon Clowney as being the other defensive MVP here, but to go with kind of a little less traditional, not go quite so obvious, I'm going to give a name that really hasn't been getting a ton of attention, and I think that, quite frankly, he should be, and that's Greedy Williams. I think Greedy Williams has had a hell of a camp. I think that you talk to Brandon, and you're going to hear from Brandon Lynch later today, Brandon Lynch and Jeff Howard, about Greedy Williams. He's been spectacular. Grant Delpit was somebody whose name I considered, and then because, the most surprising player, I'm going to save it for there. I could have made a case for a guy that'll come up as my most surprising player to be the defensive MVP of this camp.
All right. I like it. Who is the best rookie in this camp?
I think that's pretty easy. It's Cade York. 6 of 6 yesterday, booted a 54-yarder.
The one that's going viral looked like it was good from 90?
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that it wasn't.
No.
I mean,
that was a bomb.
Jim and I were joking. So we were, obviously, when you're in the booth, we were up, and in Jacksonville, we were like around the 30, I want to say, on one side of the field, 35.
Are you press box side there?
Huh?
Yeah.
You see the way the field goals go through the air. And I've been seeing it, obviously, on the sidelines for long. It kind of looks like they get kicked out and then they kind of like float and go through the goalposts.
Correct.
His look like they are going to puncture the net. I mean, they are absolute bombs. And he hits them with such great force and velocity. It's kind of crazy. So he is unique. He is a confident young man. He has got the right disposition, and I think he is going to be a tremendous asset for us in a division where, frankly, you've got 2 guys already who are tremendous assets. Evan McPherson basically kicked the Bengals to the Super Bowl. Clutch kicks, didn't miss in the playoffs. Justin Tucker, again, I keep throwing this stat out there because it's really hard for me to even fathom. But Justin Tucker is 58 for his last 58 in fourth quarters or overtime, including an NFL record 66-yarder against those Detroit Lions. But I think Cade York's been tremendous. It's been nice to see Bell get out there. Obviously, MJ Emerson has made a lot of plays, and the pick 6 that he had. Alex Wright has looked good. Perrion's looked good at times. But the guy who has been, and Jerome Ford's been great. The best rookie, though, has been Cade York, because Cade York right now feels like, if you didn't know he was a rookie, you would say, okay, the Browns have like a Pro Bowl caliber kicker on their roster.
Most surprising player.
I was on it early, so Jake, don't even come over here with that madness. DeAnthony Bell.
Yeah.
DeAnthony Bell is a 25-year-old undrafted free agent rookie out of West Florida. Sun Belt.
I couldn't even tell you where that
Sun
college
Belt
is located.
It's in the west of Florida would be my guess.
Yeah, but you can't use that logic, because they would say South Florida is in the south of Florida. In fact, it's in Tampa, which is not South Florida.
And is west, if I'm not mistaken.
Is west. Traditionally, that's where you should put West Florida.
Are you finding it? Are you looking it up?
No.
Right,
Continue.
so anyway,
I'm going to figure out where West Florida is.
He has, since he's come here, just continues to rack up plays. He is now a 1, 2, 3, Four-time.
Pensacola, so it's appropriate.
Four-time. That is appropriate. Four-time Alpha Dog winner. 4 times an undrafted free agent on this defense from West Florida has won the Alpha Dog Award. He has had pick sixes in practice. He has knocked the ball out in a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. In fact, after that game, he comes back yesterday and picks Josh Rosen off and takes it to the house for a pick six. This guy is just phenomenal. The guys love him, and I think he has, thus far, forced his way onto this roster and is going to make for some difficult decisions on the back end of this defense and in that defensive back room because he has been that good. He can play strong safety. He fits against the run. He's physical. He's fast. He understands coverage. They're playing him at the dime. He's been incredibly impressive.
Did you try Pensacola Wings of Gold just because of your affinity for the Naval Academy and air and planes and such? Do you remember this show, Pensacola Wings of Gold?
No.
It was on when I was a kid. It was syndicated.
It was like Wings, the show Wings?
Yeah, in that it was about planes, sort of. Except it was actually, I think there's a naval base in Pensacola, and so it was based out of there in the drama that would come around it. Okay. And I think there's kind of like a B-list guy who was like an older B-list guy who's kind of like the face.
97 to 2000. Created by William Blinn. The story of an elite naval base. James Brolin.
Jimmy Brolin, of course.
Yeah.
I knew it. Yep, that's how I remembered it. I hadn't thought about forever because
I have never seen it.
Yeah. Best moment of camp.
This is terribly vexing. I'm terribly vexed.
Every time a dog gets adopted, that's a win.
I think that's a win. I'd say Cade York making the field goal to end practice and getting lifted onto the shoulders of his teammates was pretty cool.
What is the biggest question you have post-camp, not counting the quarterback room? Wide receiver.
That's right. Do we have the receivers that we need to compete in an AFC that has the pass-catching cores of the Chargers, of the Raiders, of the Denver Broncos, of the Chiefs, of the Steelers, even in our division, of the Bengals in our division, in a rivalry that's brewing with Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome and Greedy Williams, which is a lot of fun, and got to talk to Denzel about that yesterday, as a matter of fact. Of the wide receiving core with the Miami Dolphins, the wide receiving core of the Buffalo Bills. Every team that I just listed, we definitely have on paper a worse receiving core than they do.
Yep.
But we have the best running back room. So
we do. And it was also, it's a wide receiver room that's put together with the idea that you'd have Deshaun Watson.
Sure.
So, and who knows what that will be.
Right.
Potentially something. Darren says Sanders' college numbers are probably the most staggering statistics in sports. They are. He was behind Thurman Thomas in the same backfield at Oklahoma State before finally winning the Heisman. He ran for like 2,800 yards when he won the Heisman at Oklahoma State. Couldn't get on the field because he was behind Thurman Thomas. And they are staggering. The most staggering sports statistics in the history of sports are Derrick Henry's high school numbers.
Of course, I was just going to say that.
That's
it's like 400 yards a game.
It is. It's like legitimately like 400 yards a game. Yeah, that's right. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, play a little higher or lower. That is coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
ESPN Cleveland.
The Land on Demand is now free in the palm of your hands during the entire month of August. ESPN Cleveland, the Bath Authority, giving fans free access to the Land on Demand for all the news you don't want to miss. See us live in the brand new studios or play your favorite shows commercial-free and on demand. Get all access to Tony Grossi's Browns analysis and more. Visit thelandondemand.com or download the app today. The Land on Demand, remodeled by the Bath Authority. Are you doing this, Stevie? Are you doing higher or lower? Are you administering this?
I can. Absolutely.
By the way, I love the fact that people really enjoyed the reservation thing. We got a lot of good Seinfeld gifs out of that. That was great. Yeah.
It's a society.
UAB captain says, love you guys, but Pistol Pete has the greatest stats ever with no three-point line. Pistol Pete was unreal.
Pistol Pete, we talked about that doc with him. Yeah, we did talk about him. Yeah, he's 40. He averages like 42 a game for his career at LSU with no three-point line. I still think the Derrick Henry is more. I know that's crazy because one's high school, one's college, but to average like 300 yards rushing every game, it just doesn't seem plausible.
They couldn't tackle him.
Yeah.
He could not be tackled. He was a giant. He was a man among boys.
All right, let me pull this up. There it is. The lovely Miss K. I just want to get these Derrick Henry stats right because I say it's 300, but it is. It's something like that. It is. Okay. It's all right, let me see this. So his career rushing yards is 12,124. Okay, so this is for his career.
12,000 a year.
124. His career rushing average per carry is 8.7. His high school career rushing yards per game is 252.
And that probably starts with what would if you just did the last 2 years in isolation.
I'm pulling it up right now.
That's what I want to see.
They don't have a pro football reference for Florida high school football.
They should.
They should.
It's a big miss.
Instance.
Yeah, for us.
And then of course, our boy Bill Bender writes for the Sporting News, but I mean the pop-ups are just, it's so many. Let me see. All right, so he breaks the singles. That's the career, knocking down pop-ups left and right. All right, so freshman year he runs for 24.65, 7.8 a carry, 224 a game. Sophomore year he ran for 27.88, 232 a game, 8.9 a rush. Junior year he runs for 26.10, 217 a game, 8.4 a rush. By the way, his touchdown totals those years, 26, 38, 34. Now the senior year he says, you know what? We've been decent.
Let's turn it up.
But my senior year, let's really let loose. No one's noticed me at this point for what I've done. So senior year, in his senior year, I just want to properly understand this. In his senior year, he ran for 4,261 yards,
That's right.
327 yards a game, 9 yards a carry, 55 touchdowns in a year in high school. That's it. That's the list.
Yeah.
All right.
Who wanted to even tackle him?
Nobody. Could you imagine poor high school kids?
Hey, Bootsy, go tackle Derrick Henry. No.
Good luck.
No, Dad.
Hit him low.
Hit him low. Good luck.
Come on, man. All right. So do we have an open for this? Usually for high or low, where there's some sort of open, Stevie. Does Gibby have an open for you for this?
Oh, really? I mean, we can just end
we have that. That's good. We got some traveling music, which is a win.
Exactly. So the first 49 players in the NFL's annual Top 100 Players of 2022 list were unveiled on Sunday, as voted on by teams and players around the league. So far, we have 3 Browns having cracked the list, so why not play a little game of higher or lower?
Love it.
And so, should the following players be higher, closer to number 1, or lower, closer to number 100?
Stevie, let me ask you a question right now.
Go for it, Nathan.
Don't you think this should just be called better or worse?
You could do better or worse, but it's higher or lower.
But I'm just asking you, I just want to get your unbiased thoughts here as somebody who's new to this. Because for the example, we would all agree that 4 is a higher number than 2, right? It is but in higher or lower, 2 is a higher number than 4.
I don't make the rules.
So I'm just saying, but just as an intelligent man, don't you feel like if we just said better or worse, is he better than 87th or is he worse than 87th? That's an easier thing for people to get their heads around.
We can do that.
We won't tell Gibbe that you said this. This is our big fight with Gibbe. It's been going on for 4 years.
4 years.
Everybody agrees it should be better or worse except
for Gibbe.
Better
or worse?
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
So, coming in at number 87, the Warden, cornerback Denzel
I
Ward.
like that little flavor. I think that's. I mean, when I see that Mac Jones is at 85, I don't particularly care for that.
That's a joke.
I have a.
And we could do 8 minutes on that.
I mean, unless
Mac Jones is a top 100 player in the league after that year.
it's insane.
Come on. What are we doing?
First of all, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. He. And this is before this comment to Brian Burns, the supposed fracas-inducing comment, was known. 67% completions, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks, 7 yards an attempt, quarterback rating of 92. I mean, that's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Very solid rookie season for Mac Jones. Better than I would have thought, to be honest with you. But it's not. He's not one of the top 100 players in the game. He has not taken.
No.
Look, because he's a quarterback, he's going to be taken in the first 3 rounds of a redraft of the entire National Football League solely because he's a quarterback. But he's not even in the discussion to go in the first round.
What other quarterbacks are around him? So Cousins is 99. Kirk Cousins is better than Mac Jones.
He is. That isn't even. I don't even think that's close to a debate. People don't get this about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Let me give you his last 3 seasons in Minnesota. 70% completions, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 4 seasons in Minnesota. 70% completions, 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. 70% completions, 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks. 8 yards per attempt, by the way, the whole time. 68%, 4,265, 35 touchdowns, 13 picks. And then in 2021, 66.3% completions, 42-21, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. So in his time with the Minnesota Vikings, he's got, let's see, 95 plus 26, that's 120, 124. 124 touchdown passes, and he has thrown 36 picks. That feels pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think here's the. This is always impossible because quarterbacks are just worth so much more than anything else. There's nothing else in sport that has the biggest discrepancy,
of course,
positionally than quarterback versus anything else in the NFL. Like it is second is eighth, right?
Yep.
If you don't have it, then you got nothing. Especially now. If you don't have that quarterback, you don't have anything. So that's kind of the tricky thing here. So, like, Denzel Ward is a better football player than Mac Jones. Wyatt Teller's a better football player than Mac Jones. Joe Bitonio, and he's rated a lot higher, is a better football player than Mac Jones. Denzel Ward at 87. So, to me, like, how do you argue? What are we doing here? How are we arguing that when you got somebody at 85 that seems way too high?
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing. So, all of these guys are better than where they're ranked in comparison to the fact that you have Jones at 85.
For sure. That's the one that just stands out as a total outlier.
It does. I also think bad job out of the NFL Network. How about have the list? I don't need to get a vignette to rewatch it all. I just want a list.
Give me a whole list.
Of 100 to 51. If you're doing, top 50 this week, fine. Just give me 51 to 100 on a list so I can see who else there.
You'll get that on a scroll on the bottom, on a lower third on NFL Network.
But I'm just saying right now, as you and I are doing the show,
I'd love
a list.
Because
I'd love to just know, because I got to bounce. I'm looking around. I see there's, pop-ups.
Stevie, you don't make the rules, but were you given these bullet points by Gibbe, or was this your sourcing?
No, I wrote everything down.
You wrote those
all
down?
My sourcing.
Okay.
I think the biggest discrepancy, though, Bo, as you mentioned, is just the fact that I don't think we can have a definitive answer until we have numbers, 50 through 1.
Well, here's the other thing. If we're doing this, then you got to know, I got to know what corners are better than Denzel.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Who are the corners better than Denzel Ward?
Where are the quarterbacks around Mac Jones?
Where are the quarterbacks around Mac Jones? Who are the guys that I can say, well, they got this wrong, or they got this right?
Right.
That's the thing. I think one thing that's really cool is Joel Bitonio got appropriate love. Finally. It's first time on this thing.
Which is
Joel,
a joke.
Memory serves.
It's a joke. If you're like an first team All-Pro, you're automatically on the list.
Yes.
I think. Thinks.
I would think he's the best. Is he the best guard on the list? Is he highest ranked guard on the list?
I would have to think so.
I'd have to think so.
I would. Quentin
should be the highest
Quentin
ranked
Nelson
guard right there.
Quentin Nelson might get J.
God, he's got a great stride today. He's got a little hop in his step today. I like it.
There's a purpose behind that. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of that purpose.
No.
Yeah, we need. I think what we can do here is we can even do some more of this as the week goes on. But Stevie, next time, if you pick, and you only have to pick like a couple people, and then just give us everybody in their position that's been listed thus far. I think we really should kick this till we have all 100, and then we can really get
See, he's got his eyes on things. Did you see that?
Look at that. Oh, you got a little second nod.
Second nod. That's my guy. Love Jay. Love Jay.
And I love the way the Air Max 270s, it gives you kind of that forward lean. You can see it propelling him.
Oh, it really is.
Kind
of like
springing him forward. Yeah. You have to get careful. My buddy back in the day, one of my he was my roommate in college, called him Rumus Al B, now the Burger King of Atlanta.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Grindhouse, right?
Grindhouse, yeah, for sure. And he would sometimes.
That was back when we used to get guys in here. Like Nick Chubb came in several times.
That's right. When they'd come,
it used to happen.
They'd break bread with us.
Yeah.
And we'd talk about some of their favorite things to eat, like Grindhouse and Nick Chubb. So he would run. He had a running style where sometimes I call it like a velociraptor. And so he'd run the Albion up, which was a dynamic play in the Emory flag football pantheon. We were champions, no big deal. We won it one year.
So you were king of the nerds at Emory.
I don't even know what that means. How do you respond to that? Our intramurals were unbelievable because remember, there wasn't a varsity, there wasn't football. King of the nerds. What a jerk. I was big on the power guy. I was athlete of the row 3 years in a row.
I'm not at all surprised. I've seen you whip it. I know. You're elite at everything. I just it was
the whole point I was saying is
it was on a tee. It was easy.
Albie,
tee it high, hit it high.
Sometimes would get so far out over his skis as he ran that he would run himself right into the ground.
Too much forward momentum.
Too much lean, and then he'd go straight down. The Albion up sometimes was get knocked out if he velociraptored.
All right, here's one for us here on this, on the NFL 100. Is Miles in the top 10?
Higher or lower?
Oh.
Better or worse, which Stevie agrees with. So, Stevie, we're going to have a trial of you tomorrow.
The trial of Stevie.
And it's on the record now, so don't you walk it back when Gibbe's here. But once he knows that even Stevie is on board, I feel like he's going to have to do what he always does and not care about reason.
I think it's probably true.
Or rational thought.
So Miles and Chubb are the only two guys on our team who are going to make the top 50 then. Am I missing anybody?
No.
That would be it.
That's it.
Miles and Chubb.
Yeah.
So Miles will be...
If Odell makes it, do we get a piece of that?
I don't think he's going to make it. So does Miles top 10? Is Chubb top 30?
Miles is top 5.
He's top 5?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over. I think it's going to be.
It's going to be top 10. Yes, top 10.
Yes, top 10. I think that was
Nick Chubb will come in at top 25
because it's going to go. Aaron Donald's in the top 5. Mahomes, Rodgers,
Brady,
Allen. Yeah, he's not in the top 5.
T.J. Watt.
Mm. So he'll be top 10.
Listen, if it's up to Madden, he will be in the top 5. He's a 99.
Yeah. When's that come out? When's Madden Day?
I think like today.
Is it today
or yesterday? I think it's out. I keep seeing. Do you see they have a get back coach now? Like if there's a call against your team, your coach goes crazy inside, and then another coach gets him back onto the sideline.
You remember? We used to have a guy working here named Nick Shook. I saw he did like a review of the new Madden, and he's dialed in with the way he plays the game
for sure.
And I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'm looking forward to it. But then I did see some some gameplay, and it's the same crap. Like anything in the air is caught by you or them.
100%.
And that's
not football.
That's not football. You got to have something.
Like guys complete 70% of passes, that I get, but the other 30% are not picks.
No. You can't go 25 of 30 with 3 touchdowns and 2 picks.
That happens all the time.
All the time in that game.
In that game, you actually might go 27 of 30 with 6 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Yeah. Good job out of you. Private school. See? King of the nerds. Nailed it.
Oh, I hope everybody on the stream enjoyed that.
They should. That was very good.
Fun.
That was good for everybody. That was a win for everybody. All right,
Jay.
good job on you on better or worse.
Forth.
He's got a phone out now, which can mean any number of things. You rarely see Jay. He's not a dual screener.
No,
He's
usually
He's not really up here
He's
doing
not a
all this either.
multitasker.
No.
He's a unitasker.
Singular focus.
That's right. Clydesdale. That's his nickname. And he's
But
back
he's got,
again.
now he's got a
more.
satchel.
He's a bag man.
He could be.
Oh, he'd be a great bag man.
Crush it. Absolutely crush it. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns.
What's in that bag?
Organs.
My dirty undies, dude.
The whites. The whites.
I threw a ringer for a ringer.
Walter's plan was just so absurd.
He's so good.
He is so
Stop it. Walter's so good.
He's so great. You'll hear from Denzel Ward for the podium coming up next. By the way, the bullet point question, I cannot wait to read this verbatim to you tomorrow from Gibbe. I cannot wait to read that to you coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.